Hello everyone, I'm that 3D guy, and just like before, we are going to continue with some of the more alias forms. And this time we'll be taking a look at a different form, obviously. But I've seen some comments where people have requested that they would like to see a patch layout also, like how you decide what kind of a patch layout needs to be created where. That is a very interesting take because I would say everyone has their own way of working, right? And how you create the patch layout is completely on you. But one thing that you need to keep in mind is that whenever you are working with the surface, uh, the main motive of the surface is clear, right? You need to have least number of spans, you need to have least number of CV counts, you need to have like the curves need to be good, and all those aesthetic things need to like match with what the quality of sketch has been given by the artist. So when you keep all these things in mind, whichever technique you are using, the final output is the main thing that matters. Not the obviously the process is also equally important as long as you know what you are doing, right? Today, whatever take I have on the uh, surfaces that I am building, you might have a completely different way of working. You might have seen people working with different tools, so that is completely normal. So whenever, like, if you have any questions, you can obviously comment, and I'll be glad to take a look. If you have any projects that you want me to support you on, make a video specifically on that project, you can send me a mail on that 3dguy23 at gmail.com. I would be happy if you can be a bit more clear, because just saying that okay, I want to maybe have a project related to this topic or that topic does not, I would say, serve the purpose. So it is very important that you actually show me some blueprints, maybe of what kind of an object you would like me to start. Maybe a complex surface that you feel is difficult, and I'll be happy to help you out. All right, so let's start with the surface, and I'll just quickly share my screen. So as you can see, we have this form which seems complex, and it might be because I think this surface is fairly simple. If I have a look, I'll just go here and edit. So if I go to settings and not the settings, I'll edit it. Perfect. And if I use a markup tool, right? So if we have a look, this entire patch is still fine because there could be maybe one or two surfaces that we might have to build, right? Nothing complex here. If I just reset it, and if I just make this again, this part is fairly simple, right? This is where we might not face a lot of issues because this is a simple surface. What we might have to do is we might have to basically run three curves, one, maybe two, and three, right? And then skin them all together so that we have this curvature, as well as a little bit of, I would say, uh, like a skin kind of a thing here, right? So that is something that we'd like to achieve here. But this is again the way I work, right? If you have a different way of working, you could have completely a different way of working. You could have different layouts of surfaces. Maybe there is also a chance that I might have built the same object a different way, and this time I have a different thought process, and I might be building it in a completely different manner. So that is also completely possible. uh, what I would try to do is I try to build it something where I have a square here, right? Maybe something one, two, three, and fourth side here. I might later cut this off using trim or something like that. I anyways want to trim it from the top. So I want to use the trim tool to basically use the cut here. If I just change the color. So what I would like to do is I first build this surface. Again, if I go to blue, I build this, right? So to build this, what I'm planning on doing, maybe you have a completely different plan again, is to have this surface here, something like this, right? Placed in such a way that I just need to have this surface, and then just add a fillet here all the way like this. So this would be our fillet, right? Because I see the negative highlight going here. That is very important. When I see the highlight, or the shadow in this case. Obviously the light is falling from here, so we have the shadow in this space. So if I have the shadow here, I'll see that there is a negative bend here. So that is where my fillet is going to be. So one thing to keep in mind is to see where the blend is happening, right? That is where you know that your fillet is going to happen. My theoretical could be somewhere over here. So I might have a surface like this, right? And this surface could go all the way till here. So whenever I have this blend here, right, I will be okay with it. So let's try to do it in 3D and see if we can actually like build this according to our plan, because that is something that I'm planning on doing. Again, we'll revisit this again and again, so that whenever like we have something to quickly check maybe how our layout was, we can come back to it again and redo what we want to do, right? So yeah, let's go here. I have already placed the layout and everything, so let's directly go and start building. Right, one thing that you need to keep in mind again is we just have one single view. That is fairly rare, I would say. Whenever we are working, there is a requirement that uh, yeah, you need at least two sketches, maybe one from the top view and one from the side view. The front view is somewhat, I would say, a merger of the top and the side view, so that is fairly okay. Even the rear view is okay. The side and the top, if you have both of them, most of the time it's enough to, I would say, completely make the sketch or make the 3D from those sketches. So here what we are trying to do is just make it from one single view, which is a bit tricky, but we have some information here based on the light that is falling. Thanks to the artist, obviously, uh, George Yu, who has created this form, we have a better idea on how this form is going to be. I can also maybe gauge that this surface has a little bit of upward flap kind of a thing, right? It has something like a wing. So we'll see if we can try to replicate that. Anyways, let's start. And if we have the top view, perfect. So what I'll do is first create a curve. Again, it needs to be a 2-degree curve, because we try to have a very uh, like a minimal curve CV count. The main reason for that, again, as I've mentioned, is we don't need a lot of points. Yeah, we don't need a lot of points, uh, because whenever you are starting with a curve, lesser is more. As I've mentioned in my previous videos also, less is more, so that's very important. Anyways, let's assign this, and this will be our. All right, let's see if we can actually use this and maybe make it like this. A little bit of curvature on both the sides. Maybe something like this. Not much. Yeah, something like this should be okay. We go here all the way like this. And what I'd like to do here is I'll use the stretch tool, because I don't want to move a lot of this, and I'll just move it like this, maybe something like this, all the way like this. And maybe edit, duplicate and mirror, so we have it on the other side. Perfect. Again, as you see that this is a sketch, so this might not be perfectly symmetrical, but this is where you need to maybe make those minor adjustments where you'd be like, okay, maybe I can play around a little and see where it how it looks, right? And how it can match the symmetry. Let's skin this and skin. All right. Now, when I see this, I would want this to be a bit flat. Again, this is something that I'll be something like this. Right, let's take a look at this. Yep. Yes, this looks good. Maybe extend it a little so that we have something like this, right? The next thing that the next thing we can do is we can actually create a curve like this and maybe place it somewhere over here. I'd like to rotate it all the way down, pivot and rotate it down. Oh, this I'll take the entire curve and maybe something like this. I'm trying to taper it like this maybe at the end. What we can also do is we can try to have this a bit accelerated. So if I have that, maybe something like this. Now, based on the sketch and the highlight, we might have to later change this change this area, right? So that is also something that we might have to keep in mind. This is again how I am thinking. Maybe there is a completely different way of doing this. So this is also perfectly fine. What I can do is I can also use a rail and use generation 1, which is basically this and this. And we have something, but yeah, this is not something that we want. Can we have a segment here? Curve segments. So yes. Or maybe trying something different. Let's see if that works. So again, as I've mentioned, this is something that I'm completely experimenting. This is not something that is 100% going to work. Let's see. And freeform blend. And we just need a G0 here. Yeah. Let's see if we can actually fillet this. That would be interesting. Not much, maybe something like 20 or something. Let's take a look again at the image. All right, and let's see if we can actually create this as well. So if we have something like this, maybe something like this, right? And moving this a bit up. Having this like this. And stretch it all the way like this. Maybe not this one, but if I use the stretch tool, I can select this point and yep, maybe all right, let's do it manually. Let's use one and snap it. And one I'll have it here. And the other I'll have it here, somewhere like this. maybe having 4. Or we could also have something where it is not like this, because I want it to be a bit more, yeah, over here I feel that it could be a bit flatter, right? Let's try that. Maybe I can also trim it first and then see how it looks and then try to trim it, right? So we can do that and view and trim it. Let's do that and let's see how it looks. All right, as you can see, we have the shape like this, which is something that we wanted. If we have a look, we have something like this. And obviously we can have a better cutout here, have a better shape running like this, something like that, right? But one thing that I want to do is I want to make this a bit flatter so that it goes flat and runs like this. So right now what we are doing is we are using this history to maintain this surface. So obviously it might sound a bit tricky because obviously this is something that we are doing by just judging how it is going to look. So let's see. Not like this. Let's try something. Yes. Maybe something like this. A bit, I would say, bottom. Yeah, this works as well. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, I think it's going negative here, which we don't want. So let's try to bring it a bit down, just a bit down, so that what I'm doing right now is just uh, trying to rotate the CVs, right? So that is something that I'm doing. The pivot is over here, so I've moved the pivot here so that whenever I rotate, only this line of CV is moving. This is still constant, right? So let's still move it. Not move it, I think. I'm just, yeah, not like this. Like to move it down. Yep. Yes. Yes, this is where it flattens out. Maybe I can also try to, yeah. So if you see, it's looking really interesting. Maybe we can have something like this. Yeah, this looks okay. Can we increase the radius of the fillet? Maybe 30, if that works. Yes. And as you can see, we already have the shape. It's just about that fine tuning that we have to do because we need to get the surfaces right and everything. If we use extend, Is it going to make things better? Yes, this is obviously something that we want. Perfect. And then I can actually use the same curve to cut it all the way like this instead of worrying about this. Perfect. And one more thing that I thought of is going to make things even interesting is using a variable fillet here. Why not do that? Right? So use a variable fillet. It's 30 here, which is perfectly fine. We can just tweak it all the way so that we have maybe 100. Let's see. We can bring it down anytime. Oh, yes, this looks good. And we can also extend this one, as anyways we are going to cut through it. So yes, perfect. And we assign it here, assign objects and show the curves. One thing maybe to make it a bit interesting is also using this and maybe making it 75. Oh no, 100 was okay, so let's keep it 200. Okay, and can we maybe make some changes here? Can I make the CVs here? Yeah, this is okay because I wanted to get rid of this. So adding just one single CV uh, row is going to make things so much better for us. Perfect. And this is all about intuition as well. So how your intuition is and how you have a whack of maybe surfacing and stuff like that. So yes, something like this. And this curve, if I have it, if I just project this, perfect. And now if I have it here, perfect. Or do I need to actually, yeah, maybe move it all the way like this. All right. Yeah. Then maybe I can just do this and project my curve here as well and then trim it. So I trim this one and yeah, I don't want this. I can get rid of this as well. Now let's have a look. And just like that, I think we have something which is actually matching what we wanted to do. Assign, perfect. And we can actually make this a template. We don't want it right now. We can hide this blueprint and see. We already have this shape and it looks so interesting with just very few patches, right? We have just two surfaces, three surfaces. Even this one, I wouldn't want these many CVs, honestly. Six is too much. Let's keep it to two, right? Let's see if this works. Perfect. I think this should be okay. Let's trim this one as well. Yes. And obviously there's going to be a little bit of deviation, but that's not something important for us right now. There's just a slight deviation because of the reduced number of CVs, but that's okay. As again, as I've mentioned, we care about the surface quality here as well, and it's still looking fabulous. Do we have a curve on surface here? No. So we just project this again and trim this. Perfect. And let's duplicate it again. Assign all of these. Assign. Perfect. And if you have a look at the shader, it's also looking quite interesting. Now, just one thing, obviously, is this shape. So I just use the blueprint now, right? And I use this blend. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a curve blend. So let's do that. I have a curve fillet here. I'm going to use the surface itself, something like this and something like this, and use this. Maybe increase the radius. So center radius can be something like 200 or something. That would be perfect, I think. Let's see. Yeah, 200 looks okay. Let's project it and trim it. Done. And as you can see, we already have something which looks quite interesting here, right? We have something which is flowing well. Maybe if I wanted this to be a bit better, what I could have actually done is I could have gone a little, yeah, this looks okay. Right. And now what we can do is we can actually create the surfaces in the center, right? Let's do that. So let's create an oval now. We have the circle tool, that's perfectly fine, just non-proportionally. We'll just scale it. Again, this is a sketch, so we need to keep in mind that this is a limitation that we'll have to work with. And having something like this, just barely, right? And let's project it. And can have something which is Control C and move it like this. Which curve is this? Okay, this is for this one. So let's bring it all the way down, I would say. Yeah, perfect. And this one is okay. We have another one like this. What we can do is we can just move it along like this and scale it. Move it again, maybe somewhere over here, right? And scale it again. Move it like this. This should be okay. Fairly similar, right? One side I think we are trying to match, and that is what we are getting, so that's perfectly fine. And let's project it. So we have this projected. Let's trim this. Perfect. And this one is something that is going to go down all the way like this, right? And let's select all the surfaces and just that single curve, oh sorry, that single circle, and blend it together. So I won't be blending it completely, I'll just be blending it in parts. Also, one thing, if you notice, this entire loop is cut, and this is I would say the closed loop, so we'd have to cut it as well. So let's do that. So I use this, and let's use curve section. So select this and cut it like this. Perfect. And we use freeform blend and G0 on both the sides, and maybe use a Bezier surface here. I hope, yeah, I knew this was gonna happen, so we can do it in parts, not an issue. Let's do it from default, and let's scale it like this. Right now I see that, yeah, there are a lot of issues like this which can happen, which is fairly okay, I would say. Or there is also one more thing that can be done. I think this should be okay. Let's just see if we can make it work, and maybe using a square as well. I'm not sure, just trying to make it work. Maybe using somewhere like this, and maybe using a bi rail. So rail and this, perfect. 1 2 3 and 4, not working. One, okay. The square work here, 3 and 4. Okay, we have a positional continuity failing here. Let's see if we increase the count. No, this count should be okay. All right, I think this should be okay. Let's see if we can make the other side work as well. Square. Yeah, I think this is causing an issue. So let's do one thing. Instead of worrying about this much, we can actually use this and this surface. Perfect. And curve section. Yes. Perfect. Then use a freeform blend, and we use edge align here. This is much better. As you can already see, it's looking much better. And if you trim this, right? Yep, we'll trim this. We'll maybe move all the way down, something like this. First we'll move it up. Yeah, down like this. And yeah, this is not going to be like a perfect one, but should make it work, I think. A bit smaller, maybe if we can scale it. Scale it a little bit like this and move it up. Yes, something like this should work. And intersect and trim it. So we can actually trim this one like this and trim these ones. Yeah, now we have a better one, and we assign this. Perfect. And also we can just use fillet to close this. Perfect. As you can see, we already have this shape now, and it did not take us more than 30 minutes, I would say. Yeah, 30 minutes and we already have this shape. It looks really good. We also have the history, so we can actually move it even more if I want to, because I want to keep it a bit more sharp, right? So, yep, one thing that I can also do is this one and this one. Perfect. And just undo this and untrim these ones. Untrim. And maybe use this to scale even further, or maybe non-proportionally scale it even further. Yeah, this is I think where the limit hits. Let's untrim this. You can also toggle the blueprint. So let's toggle the blueprint and hide it. Dissect it with this one. That way we know that, okay, this is how it's going to look. And let's again scale it non-proportionately. Maybe something like this and moving it like this. Yeah. I just want to make sure that I'm not touching the fillet, which is fine. Let me move this a bit more. And yeah, one thing, just please ignore if it feels like I'm yapping, because I feel that it's very important for me to also make sure that it's understandable, right? So if you feel that some of the knowledge that I'm just yapping about things, it's also for me to understand how the surfaces are working. And because again, this is something that I'm also doing it for the first time in front of you. So maybe if you can just bear with it, that would be perfectly okay. I'll just discard this one and discard these ones as well. Perfect. And now we assign it here. And yeah, this looks even better. Perfect. And now what I can do is I can actually create a fillet. And let's see. How close is it? It's fairly okay. And yeah, we can have this one as edge align as well. Does not matter, but would be okay. Yes. And align it. And this should be okay. Perfect. So as you can already see, we have something which looks like this. And yeah, one more thing that could have been done is having the fillet all the way like this, so that you could have gotten the feeling of, again, I would say a flap like this, but this also looks okay. I'm fairly happy with this. I could have in fact increased the fillet radius over here, and that would have worked as well. For now, I'm really happy with how the structure has uh, turned up to be. Right, maybe if I can increase the fillet a little, will it affect it? And maybe making it 25. Yeah, this also is okay. I can assign it here. Yeah, perfect. So we have the shape, we have everything. Let's make this one fairly simple, just circles, right? So having one circle here, move it here, right? Project these. So this one. I'll just use this surface. And we have the curves on surfaces, so that's perfectly okay. And trim divide, and using divide, delete construction history. Yes, we can have a surface and move pivot in the center. So as you can see, I just created a curve so that I could have the center point here, and I can actually play around with it. Can I do the center pivot here? Yeah, so if I do the center pivot like this, it's not going to take the pivot of the small uh, the small cutout here. The main reason being, this is not a surface, right? This is not a separate surface, it's from the main surface, so the pivot is also going to be from the main surface. To have a temporary pivot, what I have done is I basically created a curve here. This center we have, and for this surface what we can do is we can just move the pivot here. Perfect. And now if you see, we have the pivot. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this down like this, right? And scale it. So scale it down like this. Maybe move it a little up, and just give me the surfaces and use a freeform blend. Over here what I can do is I can actually have a G0 or G2 on this side, maybe G2 on this side, right? Same here. Perfect. Surprisingly no issues, which is good. And just fillet it. So fillet, and maybe 15 would work. Perfect. The same here, like this. Perfect. As you can see, we get that flow as well. And again, if you keep in mind, this is all editable, so that is something that is going to really help us. Perfect. And now the last part is basically having this cutout, which we are going to do, and something this. Let's stretch it. Yeah, I don't know why the stretch tool is not working fine today. Yeah, anyways, we always have a way to figure things out, right? So that's going to be okay. Like this. Yeah, perfect. Maybe I can just stretch it. Yeah. Move it like this. And have it like this. If we want, we can also offset this, or maybe just duplicate it and move it like this. This is also okay. And then project, view, trim. Oh, yeah. So as you can see, we were not able to get this right. Let's do one thing. We can just trim divide this. Yes. Trim divide this as well. Yes. Trim divide this as well. 2 and 3. And this tiny surface here as well. And trim this and divide. And trim. Perfect. And now let's just discard this. Yeah, we don't need this. Perfect. Let's okay, is this just a curve on surface? Yep. And let's just draft it. Down. The same here. Okay, we don't have a blend here, so that is something that is going to cause issues for us. Let's project this one and trim it. Perfect. And now we can draft it. Yeah, I don't need the curve on surface here. Is there a separate surface? Yeah, there's a separate surface. Yes, let's draft. Draft angle needs to be 0. And the length we'll keep it very short, maybe around 20 or maybe 30. Let's keep it 30. Perfect. And let's surface fillet this. And as you can see, we did not have a lot of issues while trimming, cutting and stuff like that. Now we are able to fillet everything fairly simply. The main reason being our base surfaces are so well made, right? If you have a good surface layout, you are not going to face a lot of issues. Oh, I'll maybe connect this one. I like it connected. Yeah, maybe expecting something good to happen, hopefully. Yeah, not the best, but okay. Looks interesting. Fine, I'll keep it like this. I have lesser patches to worry about, so that's okay. Do I have continuity issues here? Yeah. Yes, that's the main reason, I think. Let's reduce it and let's keep it to default. I don't want to play around much. Yeah, and see if we can increase the V degrees and reduce any of these points. No, maybe on this one. Yeah, no, I think we'll leave it like this. Not an issue. Anyways, we have some surfaces connecting here, so it's bound to happen. Either we have the base over here having lesser ones. Yeah, maybe we could have just blended it here, but I think this is okay as well. Let's surface fillet this one as well. Yeah, this one is smoother because again we don't have a lot of connections here. Perfect. And I'll just put everything in my layer and set color to black. And yeah, this is how it looks now. Looks really good. I would say it's something that I didn't expect this to go that well, because again, as you can see, we made this in just 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. These details I won't even consider, because again, these are something that you can do. The main thing about getting the surface right was, yeah, the shape of it. Again, I would say I could actually bring this a bit down so that it does not look like it's like a flap. But considering we don't have enough information about this from any other view, and I'm very happy. Plus, if we take a look at the reflections, yeah, this is something that is looking really good. Like if we have a look, this actually flows how we intended to flow. We don't have any major breakage. Uh, Obviously, you could have gone way complex trying to blend it like this. This is also perfectly fine. If I would have wanted to maybe bend this surface separately, I could have actually moved this a bit down, right? I can actually do it even now. If I want to, I can just maybe bring it a bit down so that we have that kind of a feel that it's going a bit negative. But for now, I think it is looking really good. I'm really happy how this turned out to be. Yeah. So as you can see, just an hour and just some kind of additional surfaces. There were also one surface that we did not even require. If you see, we did not even require. Oh yeah, I hope there's nothing that. Oh yeah, if you see this surface, we did not even require that. Yeah, we just use it as a dummy surface, which is something very interesting to consider. And that is something that you also need to keep in mind, that you can also use some surfaces that can be used as a dummy, right? Because you don't always need to make something out of those surfaces. That is very important. But for now, I'm really happy. And let's assign some shaders and yeah, just play around. And yeah, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my visualization tools. Right now it looks quite bland. Let's bring out my visualization tab and shader library. Perfect. Let's assign this metallic red. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it to the entire layer. Yes, perfect. And as you can see, it looks how we want it to look like. Yeah. And can we turn on ambient occlusion or something? Visualization, toggle display. Okay, this is already on. Yeah, so this is how it is going to look like. Perfect. So yeah, I hope you liked this video again. And this is something that was fairly simple. Like if you see our initial sketch, right? Yeah, if we see our initial layout, this is exactly how we created. You could have had something, if I just reset this entire thing, you could have something which could have been something like this, maybe having cut here, right? Having something like this, maybe, and then maybe having a surface like this. So this could also have worked. Again, for me, I felt that okay, maybe uh, wanting something like this is maybe a bit easier to follow. If I would have had more time, maybe I could have used this approach as well. But yeah, as you can see, based on the designer as well, it matters. This is fairly a very small surface, so I didn't care much. But if I wanted some crown here, I can actually edit this right now and make this change as well. So yeah, fairly satisfied, especially with the blend and how the surface is looking right now. Yeah, it's something that if you want, you could follow and get it right as well. Everything is G2 obviously, because if the surfaces, the initial surfaces are clean, everything looks good as well, even the reflections. So yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be glad to help you out. Please share me the models or any sketches that you'd like me to make, because obviously uh, I have to go through the entire list of what would be suitable for you. But if you tell me what you'd like, that would be even more, I would say, beneficial. So yeah, thanks a lot. And I won't be editing anything out of this, because I felt that we just made it just under an hour. So I'll keep it like this. And if you have any other questions, you can let me know. Please like the video and share it if you can, because that obviously motivates me to create the video. All right. Thanks a lot and see you in the next session. Bye bye.